Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Kevin McDonald.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life for our seniors, we all love music. And our first guest this afternoon, is Terrell Edwards, who is a singer in the Santa Clarita Valley. Welcome.
That's right. Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. So what's happening in your life besides singing?
Well, it's funny that you may ask. You know, you led in perfectly with saying everyone loves music, and I'm humbled, and it's my pleasure to be a producer, songwriter, and singer. I love what I can do on stage to share a little bit of joy for a few moments for people. And the Summer Breeze Music Festival, June 7th, encompasses all of that and more. We are super excited to be in our third year. The numbers of attendance now we are at our record numbers right now, so that's fantastic to see. And we're about 10 days away.
10 days away. Good heavens.
That's right.
Are you shaking in your boots?
I am, always. I'm always shaking.
So I've never heard you sing. And so what kind of music do you sing? Everything or certain?
It's so funny and people ask me that all the time. I think I'm most known for my Motown show. I grew up with classic soul music, but what people don't know about me is, for many years when I was a teenager, I'd listen to everything from classical to adult contemporary. I mean, I
Western music, everything.
Absolutely, country music. Yeah,
country music.
I have done and will do anything that touches my soul, because it's important for me to really kind of believe in what I'm singing. And so if it's got to be a good song, but it's also got to say something. So this particular for the music festival for Summer Breeze, it's not only what I'm going to bring to the table, but I've got some friends that's going to be joining us too, and that's why we call it a music festival, because there will be a little bit of everything.
Boy, and Barbara, he's amazing. Terrell's amazing as a performer, as a singer. You should, once he gets on that stage, it's a whole nother thing.
Well, I will definitely.
So darn good.
I will definitely plan to be there.
Oh, girl, fantastic.
Yeah. So, how did you get involved with music? Has it always been in your family?
It absolutely has. My dad was a singer. He also directed choirs all my life. I mean, I watched him not only sing, but I saw him, help others develop, a craft, and what music did to, help people from an emotional standpoint and a spiritual standpoint. So that always just spoke to me, and when I saw that was a way for me to, embrace my passion and pass it on to someone else, it seemed like a win-win for me.
Oh yes. So, do you have a family?
I do.
And?
My children are all on the East Coast. Actually, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin originally, but
whoa! And what are you doing out here?
You know what? The industry. One step in front of the other. The industry, brought me here. I met a guy by the name of Jay Leno. You may not have heard of him, but
everyone's heard of him. Yeah.
Who?
But
who?
Yeah. But he saw something in something I was doing with I got another tribute group called the Rat Pack, Tri-City Rat Pack. And he put us on a road to open up for him at the Mirage. We did that for 3.5 years, and
wow!
And eventually, I was on the phone talking to him about the next show, and he says, "Terrell, let me ask you, why don't you live in L.A.? Why aren't you in L.A.?" And I really didn't have an answer for him, because I really wanted to be in L.A. the entire time, but I was a little you get cold feet sometimes with moving. You know, you get comfortable with where you are, and it's like, well, maybe this is it. You know, but when he said that to me, you know, in a 2-hour conversation, he started with that, and I just kind of felt like, you know, I believe God's trying to tell me something through Jay Leno, and
here you are.
And then he even just challenged me to come here, and you know, do what he knew I could do, and if he said, and Terrell, if it doesn't work out, you can always go back.
Well, that's very true. Very true. So your children, where do they live?
My oldest son is the musician in the family. He lives in Milwaukee. You know, all of my kids, you know, went to school, and they kind of stay where they were. My youngest daughter is in Atlanta. She's a psychologist, and my youngest son is a park ranger in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
What an active family. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You did a good job, didn't you?
Okay, well, you know, with a little help. So, you know,
There you go.
And now you're here in Southern California. How was that move for you?
No, it's
that transition.
You know what? It's fantastic. I mean, I've just specifically here in Santa Clarita. I mean, I've just met so many great people. You know, it's been home for me. Not only that, but I can make a living here, doing what I love, and you know, it's just a passion for me. I love people, and that is really my motivation, is to be able to connect with people and you know, help people with, you know, being just happy. You know.
Sure.
And you did that, you know, you do that in so many ways, because you're bringing, and I want you to talk about Summer Breeze more and what we're bringing to the show coming up. But you also, you know, you're a charitable person in town. You're well known for that as well, giving back to the community, giving back to my fellow nonprofits and helping out. And it's really just special that it's about the music, but it's also about you as a person giving back to the community. So kudos for that.
Thanks, Kevin. And you know what? I mean, and kudos to you. I mean, I love what you guys are doing at the Senior Center. You know, I try to. I have a real soft spot for seniors. I mean, I've learned a lot. You know, from and I learned a lot from, you know, people that are gone before me. So the reason for the music that I select is because, you know, I'm just, you know, I just really appreciate real music. You know, from the 50s and the 60s. You know, I don't know about you, and I mean, and nothing against, I mean, because I know the craft. People work really hard at their craft, but there's something that just speaks to me about that music of the 50s and 60s that make me always want to pay tribute to it, you know, and I always want to honor those people.
That's cool.
And you know, and even there's something nostalgic about it. But I tell you what, I mean, those kids that are, you know, in their teens, in their 20s, you know, when they hear it.
Right.
You know, it's like you know, like a fresh sound for
When
them.
they hear it, they hear it.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
cool.
there's-
And we've got a
This-
call,
oh.
by the way.
Okay.
Oh, it's
So-
here now?
Yeah, please put on your 3D headphones. Here we
right.
go. And who do we have there?
3D headphones. Wow, I need to get some of those. This is Bobby Watson calling.
That's my good friend Bobby Watson. Holy smokes, Bobby, how you doing?
Good.
So
Good.
what Bobby
Yeah.
Bobby Watson, you know, is he was a part of the band Rufus and Shaka Khan. You know,
I remember the name Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan is really famous for a song, "I'm Every Woman," which is probably one of the biggest female anthems in history. But he was the bass player.
Yeah.
He was the bass player. I mean, Bobby, we'll talk a little bit about your journey, but more importantly, and one of the things about Summer Breeze is we want to shed a light on the fact that there are legendary musicians right here in Santa Clarita, and Bobby Watson lives right in. You want me to tell people where you live?
Yeah, you can tell them. Uh-huh.
Friendly
Yeah.
Valley. If you guys have,
Oh, that's right across from where I live.
that's right.
That's
right.
a great
I
golf
live in
course
the
there,
Princess
too.
Homes.
Yeah. And so Bobby, I mean,
Okay.
incredible
Yeah.
human being, you know, and an incredible talent. And so I just want
Thank you.
you
Thank
guys to
you.
meet Bobby a little bit. Hey, Bobby, why don't you tell him a little bit about
Yeah.
how you got started?
Yes, well, I'm a L.A. guy. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but I came here when I was 9 and started playing music. And my mom loved that I was a musician and tried to encourage me. One day I was in the yard mowing the lawn, and this guy pulled up in a little sports car and said, "Hey, are you Bobby Watson?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." He says, "Well, I need a bass player." I was 16. He said, "I need a bass player." I said, "Well, yeah, what's the gig?" He says, "Well, I'm playing for this band called The Whispers." and their bass player got drafted into the Vietnam War. So we need somebody to replace him. So I said, yeah, I'm up for it. He said, the first gig is in San Francisco. And I went, whoa, wait a minute. I'm 16. You got to go talk to my mom. So Al, the guy that was driving the little car that pulled up was Al McKay from Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Holy smokes.
Oh, wow.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, so I actually ended up doing that gig with Al McKay at 16 years old. And my mom loved me because all the money I made, which was about $200 a week, came to her.
Wow.
And she bought a new fridge, and she bought a new countertop and a new stove. I mean, at Sears, you could get anything under $100 back in '66.
So you paid her back. You paid her back for what she did to you.
For all that cooking and diaper changing she did.
How did you and Watson meet, Terrell?
So Bobby, he was just asking how we met, and we have a mutual friend, the Nutters, and they were having a Christmas party, and we showed up there, and not only that, they knew some other people too that are very well known musicians.
Who?
Greg and Abby Nutter.
Greg and Abby Nutter? Good heavens, they live across the street from me.
That's right. There you go.
They
small
pick
world.
me up and take me to the Elks and take me all over the place.
So that's the kind of circle.
My goodness! Greg and Abby, they are terrific people.
Yeah, nice people.
Yeah.
Love them.
So that's how. So we hit it off. And we never looked back. So I asked Bobby, would he be interested in jumping on here, and here we are. So I want to ask you, Bobby, if you can share one other thing, and that is, can you give your experience with Michael Jackson?
Oh yeah, the Michael Jackson project, the first big album he had, Off the Wall. Some of the Rufus rhythm section came over and did that for Quincy. Quincy was producing our Rufus album at the time, and he loved the way the rhythm section sounded with me, John Robinson on drums, and Hawk Walensky on keyboards. And he thought we sounded so good and so tight that when he got the gig producing Michael's album, he called us as his first rhythm section to play, record 3 songs for that Off the Wall album. And I played on 3 songs. I only ended up staying on Rock With You because you guys may not know this, but Quincy always records multiple tracks of all the instruments. So there were 2 other bass players on there, Louis Johnson and one other bass player, but I made it on Rock With You. I also played on Gotta Leave That 9 to 5 up on the shelf. And just enjoy yourself. But they liked Louis's bass a little better than mine. He said, I talked to the engineer. He said, Bobby, he said, we love your bass, but it made the song feel more like a Barry White tune than we were headed for that pop sound. So Louis had a better pop sound. So I didn't mind. I made it on Rock With You, and that song has become
and just
an all-time favorite.
Absolutely.
People,
and just so you know, that song Rock With You is on my set for Summer Breeze. And guess who's going to be playing bass on Rock With You? Bobby Watson himself.
Is it
Really?
me?
The original.
You're bringing your friends in, huh?
For this.
Is it me, but do bass players play with everybody? I mean, it's amazing.
You know what?
They're on everything.
It's I think, as a front man, it's tough to find a really good bass player that you can connect with. You're also always looking for a certain sound. And so,
that's right.
And Bobby's one of the best.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
So we got the show coming up. you've got the information on that, right?
Yeah,
Kevin?
who else is playing? You got three and a half hours of music.
That's right.
This
do.
is a festival. I think we got to define the difference between a concert and a festival. This is a festival for Santa Clarita.
Absolutely.
This is good. This is good. And this is year 3.
Absolutely.
All right. So who's coming out this week?
And then
this year?
and I'm super excited because I'll start at who I feel is at the top. Of course, we gotta have Bobby Watson on there, but we're also gonna have there's a Tower Power legend I'm actually friends with. He's one of my mentors is Greg Adams. He's an incredible trumpeter. We got another 3-time Grammy Award winning Tom Scott. He's performed with everyone that you can name on a list.
Yeah,
and
name.
if you guys familiar with Starsky and Hutch, he actually was the songwriter of that theme and many other things. We've got Allison Porter, who's the winner of The Voice. And she's got an incredible voice, and we've got Nia Padilla, who's a incredible American Mexican singer, and she's going to be gracing the stage. So we've got a melting pot of music. Like you said, this is a festival, Kevin, and I'll bring the old school, the classic soul. And a little Motown.
Yeah.
So give us the details. Where are we going? What day are we going? Where do we get these ticket things? What's going?
You guys can meet us at Cal Arts, California Institute for the Arts, on June 7th. And you can of course you can walk up, but don't walk up because you'll end up standing in line. Why don't you just go online and get your tickets? You can go to topentertainment.co. You can go there and you can go to Eventbrite, but it'll be like...
Oh, I see it down at the bottom of this page.
If you go to topentertainment.co, you'll go to the events, and it'll take you right there.
And that's where we can buy tickets.
That's right. And here's a little tip. There's a little discount code, and it's S Breeze. If you type in that where it says promotion, if you type in S Breeze, man, you get 20% off a ticket. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And you're giving a bunch of charity, too.
That's right.
You're giving back to some of my friends, the food pantry, and some of my other colleagues in town. That's just wonderful.
That's
fantastic.
Again, not to beat a dead horse or preach or anything, but to me, we're here for each other. So, I never had to create a nonprofit. I looked in Santa Clarita, says, with so many nonprofits here to support, why don't I just support one of those or several of those with what I'm doing? So,
thank you for bringing just this amazing festival to town. And you're leading the whole thing, and you're bringing your friends along for the ride. And wow.
And you know what? And that's I get by with a little help from my friends.
And you're sitting here amongst seniors here, and I can speak for the group here. Seniors love music.
Oh yeah,
especially getting out.
Oh yeah, we'll be dancing and singing. So so come on out and have a great time.
Because Barbara's a dancer.
There you go.
She can find her groove, and that's
I heard about that.
Who were some of your early
I'm going
influences?
to sign off. Before I do, though, I just want to say that on the day of the show, I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to put some nice clothes on, and I'll see you guys over there.
All right.
Sounds wonderful. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Nice being on the show. Have fun.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now.
Bye-bye.
I wanted to ask you, before we go on break, who are your early influences musically?
Early influences,
Yeah.
that's an easy one for me. Lionel Richie is probably one of my all-time favorites. Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye, and my very first solo I ever sang was a song called "Love on the Rocks" by Neil Diamond. So, and I actually, it's so funny that I'm actually writing a song right now with Neil Diamond's original arranger, Lee Holdridge. So it just came full circle for us.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Give us that date again on the show. Excuse me, festival.
Yeah.
Festival, Saturday, June 7th. When are we showing up? What time?
Get there early. 4:30 doors open. Show starts at 5:30. We got some.
California Institute of the Arts.
That's right.
3.5 hours of music. All right.
Wow. It's going to be outside.
It's going to be outside. Yeah.
Ooh, let's hope it isn't raining.
You know what? It will not rain.
No,
it never rains in
no.
Southern California.
All right. Terrell, thank you very much for joining us today.
3-minute stations, 3 minutes to your...
We need to take a break now. I'm Kevin McDonald with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host
Kevin McDonald.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest now is Carrie McCoy from Leap Children's Museum.
Yes, thank you very
I've
much.
never heard of that. Tell us all about it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely why I'm here. So a year ago, we started a nonprofit in hopes of building a permanent children's museum in Santa Clarita. And so we started a year before that, kind of gathering information, meeting with people to discuss the idea of having a children's museum and get support and understanding of how we would go about doing that. And once we surveyed the families and talked to the community members, talked to the community leaders and organizations that would support us, we found that there was a grave interest in building a children's museum, and so we started the process. We created a nonprofit last year and a board of directors, and then started with our very first pop-up event last summer, where we sold out and had 1,700 people come in the matter of 42 hours.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Where did you fit 1,700 people in?
So they were all in sessions. We had 50 people per session, and we had to cap it out. So we have no idea how many people we would have had if we didn't have to cap this space and were there for weekends and weekends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's talk about
So
saying
where
there's
do
a need out there or a want.
Yeah, and
right?
these people came from Bakersfield, Monrovia, Antelope Valley, Ventura. They came from everywhere. I guess they found us through Google News alerts.
Okay.
On the patios.
Yeah, so this year we're going to be on the Valencia Town Center patio. So we will be at the mall, over on the patios by Lululemon, across from Carter's. And we will now have a bigger space so we can accommodate more people. And instead of just doing 2 weekends, we'll have 5 weekends so that we don't have to cap it, hopefully.
Whoa, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's involved in a children's museum?
Yeah, so for some people, we've been to children's museums, but for those who haven't, a children's museum is unlike what you would think of with the museum, where it's quiet and you're not supposed to touch anything. It's exactly the opposite of that. Ideally,
That makes
children,
sense.
yeah, right. Ideally, they get to touch everything. They get to break it and put it apart, and that they're not told how to experience the museum. The idea is that this is a space for them to learn in an active way. So instead of being lectured at in classrooms, I'm an educator. I've spent 10 years in education. And instead of being lectured at in a classroom, they're able to have tactile experiences and problem solving and cooperation to learn these things that we want them to learn.
Oh, that's so critical for them as they grow up, because so many families are together like this, and they don't reach out to other families.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. I've lived in this community since 1968, when it was just getting started. I mean, there wasn't even a city, and I've worked in the community for that many years, and that's what I've seen. But this is fantastic. This should have occurred many, many years ago.
The city
Many years
actually
ago.
took the steps to have it occur. So my understanding is that Pro Tem Mayor Lorraine West commissioned an arts director to look into building a children's museum 20 years ago. So she had the insight to think this is going to be a thing that we need.
Yeah,
but
but-
at that point, we just didn't have the families we do now.
That's very true.
Yeah.
This community has grown like I used to ride my motorcycle over where the 14 freeway is. There was no freeway there. It
Yeah.
was just a big hill, and my boys would say, "Come on, Mom, you can make it. You can make it." And I finally did. But that's good heavens. Yeah, Friendly Valley is now there, and it wasn't there when I lived in the house I live in. Just incredible how this place has grown, but it's a beautiful community.
Yeah, and
It really is.
Yeah, and with what you're talking about, that is one of the key things as to why I started this idea. You know, I came back into Santa Clarita after having children and feeling like this is the best place to raise them. And then I started working with JCI and felt like the junior chamber taught me a lot about creating events and creating the things that we want to see in the community. But then I also, through JCI, was able to sit down with the then Mayor Jason Gibbs and talk to him about what the plan was for the city and seeing their master plan and where all they want to take this. They're not done building.
Oh, no.
And they want us to be a destination, and going to children's museums absolutely can be a destination. You know, our families drive to Pasadena, to Anaheim. We drive everywhere, and even on vacation, I took my kids to a museum in Mississippi that was an hour away because we love children's museums. So how many people will come here and, you know, work with that destination city?
That's true. Well, we have Magic Mountain out here.
Yes,
you
and
know, we
it's
have
our landmark.
The Heart Museum
Yeah.
here, and the walking trails
Yeah.
and biking trails. I mean, it's an incredible city. It really is.
But what the city is built upon is people who find a passion. You've obviously clearly what you're saying is that's your passion is a children's museum, and that's
Yes.
unique. And to try to bring that to fruition.
Yeah.
So, and kudos to you for starting up a nonprofit. I know how difficult that is to do, and to get it rolling in town and to hit that niche.
Yeah.
And explain what LEAP means, because LEAP is a great word, but what does it mean?
Yeah, so my husband came up with the acronym, actually. Jimmy came up with Learn, Experience, Act, and Play as our key cornerstones of what we
Learn,
hope
experience,
they get.
act, and play.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, 'cause that's what we want them to
That's
do.
everything.
Yeah, right? Isn't that perfect?
Oh,
So they take the leap. They come into this space, and that's what they're doing. They're
kudos to
learning and
him for doing
experiencing.
that.
Okay, so the
That's-
children are taking a leap. All right, now this is starting to
Yeah.
roll with me.
Yeah.
Now I got it. All right, the children are taking a leap. Leap is here
Yeah.
in town trying to build, and what do you? How are we going to experience this summer? I mean, with these 5 weeks, do you have any focus areas?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year we did a construction themed museum and we partnered with construction companies. And then this year it's health. And so what that looks like is in our 5,000 square feet that Valencia Town Center was kind enough to let us
Wow.
use, we're going to have a medical area. We're going to have a dental area that Smile Republic is creating. And then we're going to have a gymnastics area that Hugo's Gym is going to be creating. And then we have a garden and a grocery store and a self-care area. So in each of these ways, we're trying to showcase ways for them to empower themselves and understand their health, but they're just playing. So they think that they're just playing, but they're also taking away, role-playing what a radiologist looks like on an x-ray screen. Or we have a large operation table where they're going to be pretending to be surgeons and removing the items, right?
Wow.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of tactile stuff, but all themed around health, whether it be physical health, nutritional health, or mental health.
Wow. And this is for children.
Yes, unfortunately, just for children, Barbara.
Just for children.
And what's the ages of the children?
So it's for anybody, but what we see, the research shows that children's museums' median age is always 6.
Okay.
So for this museum, it tailors mainly to people from 2 to like 8 years old, maybe 9 years old.
Okay.
I think my 15-year-old has fun. He's helping us build it, and he has a lot of fun in there, but primarily for the younger children, they'll have the most fun.
So if I'm a family in Santa Cruz, this sounds like a great summer activity for the weekends. Wow. So how would you sign up for it? How does that all happen?
So on leapmuseum.org, we have the signups right there. You could follow us on social media, and it's $5 per person. So anybody that's coming into the session, and then they come for an hour and 15 minutes, and then we clean up the session, we restart, and let the next group in.
That's it. That's it. That's all. Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're making it really price friendly for the family.
Yes, very affordable. I have children, and I know how expensive things are, so we really want to make sure everybody can access this. But we also do need to be able to try and raise some funding so that we can get to that permanent children's museum.
Sure. No, it's all part of the gig. That's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. Yeah, and really,
$5 per.
yeah,
That's nothing.
right.
Most things you go to, you pay 50, 100, 150. $5.
Yeah, we really want everyone to access it. And the only way we can really do that is through our sponsors. So, iLead has been just pivotal in partnering with us to make this so that we don't have to put the cost on to the guests, and instead they're supporting the materials and all the marketing and things that we need. And we have UCLA Health, we have Smile Republic, and we have Hugo's. So we have a lot of support
I was
that
gonna say,
make
you have a
this
lot of backers
possible.
with,
Yeah,
with
we
those
do.
names you're
Yes.
dropping. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
UCLA Health.
absolutely. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've gotten a lot of support, and that's how we're able to make it so that the guests are only contributing $5, so that they mainly have commitment, but that it also goes to raising the funds to build that permanent space.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's
not so much that somebody is left out because it's just too much money. You know, when you have a family of 5 and you're coming in there and you're paying $16 for every kid, and then you have to buy socks or you have to buy something else to be able to go in, it just becomes unnecessary. And instead what we do is we turn to screens, you know, and we give them screen time. And I'm trying to make sure that people can avoid that and have more tactile experiences for children.
Yeah, and that's what children need. They need to be doing things, not sitting in front of a television.
Yeah, get
Or
that energy
sitting in
out.
front of one of those things you have in your hand.
Yeah, the tablets.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jiminy
There's,
Christmas.
we have screens everywhere, Barbara.
Yeah.
I know.
So that's why I
yeah,
think you're a result of the tactile
Yeah.
and going through each of those different. Is it different stations?
Yeah.
Or is that a fair way
Yes.
to? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have like a coloring station. We'll have a low sensory area, but then we also have, you know, bikes that they can build and drive on. We have gym mats that they can do tumbles on. So for those who need more energy to get out versus the ones who want to role play and wear a white coat and pretend they're a dentist, you know, things like that.
And 5,000 square feet. I'm just imagining that's you had a pretty good
That's-
spot then.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
pretty big.
Yeah, Valencia Town Center has been very kind in giving us whatever we need to be able to put this on for the community.
Well, it sounds like you're seeing the support after support after support. You got some really nice sponsors there. You have the Valencia Town Center saying we want to do this. Your and who do you have staff? Is it all volunteers? Is it your family? Who puts
All
this
volunteers. So
All volunteers.
All
Wow.
volunteers. So the LEAP board is large. We have a group of several members that are supporting us that come every month, are working and scraping the floors and creating the signs and doing all of the work. My vice president, Cesar Torres, is our graphic designer, which has been a big gift because I am not graphic design inclined at all, you know. But so we have a large group of volunteers, and then JCI supports us. They have a partnership with us, so every year they help us with volunteers.
Explain
So-
JCI real quickly because
Sure.
the acronym gets people.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
I know.
So, Junior Chamber International is a international chapter that we have here in Santa Clarita that supports 18 to 40-year-olds to become leaders in the community. And they do that primarily by creating community impact projects. So they're also a nonprofit in town that have done things like 40 Under 40, Santa's Helpers every year for the last 25 years. And then we also created Veterans Resource Fair and Get Real Adulting 101. And now we have a Wellness Expo coming. So Junior Chamber is doing a lot of the work behind the scenes for the community to continue to have really engaging projects.
And I think
Yeah.
Junior Chamber is developing our future leaders. We're seeing it in our different sectors right now. And what the Junior Chamber has done is develop leaders like yourself and everyone else coming up through the ranks saying, start giving back to the community early, be real leaders. And that's, I think it's a real, you know, it's almost like the minor league going up and you're right there. Or maybe it's a major league already. But it's nice to have that happening. And then they're supporting you, making this
Yeah.
all happen.
Yeah, they're very supportive. So they put on a fundraiser for us on April 1st,
Mm.
and now they're supporting us with volunteers. They're there with me every night building the museum. So they're a big contributor
Mm.
to this. And we hope that when we have the permanent space, we'll in turn give them space to hold meetings and events and honor that partnership.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's amazing.
It really is. That
At the
is just
fundraiser,
amazing.
speaking about how involved we are, we had 36 businesses and organizations donate or provide goods.
From here?
From here in Santa Clarita.
Whoa.
We have a-
That's incredible.
Yeah. The only way we're going to make this happen is this collaboration. And we
Yes.
continue to get a lot of collaboration and support. Wow. Yeah.
That is just wonderful. My goodness.
And Barbara, they're doing this all volunteer effort to make
I
this
know.
happen for the children of this community.
And we have so many people in this community who volunteer.
And when does it start? When's the kickoff?
On June 7th, it's our
Okay.
very first day, and we did sell out last time, so we are trying to make sure everybody knows that if they want to come, they should reserve their session so that they can have a guarantee of being able to get in. We will take in walk-ins when the sessions aren't full, though.
This is amazing because when you think about it, it inspires. kids, and who knows what they can do, 5-10 years down the road from this learning, from helping with this, and being involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the people that have supported us, like Patsy Ayala or our architect from Chark Designs, they were telling us about how at a children's museum is where they learned that they wanted to become an architect, or where they got inspired to do something else. So it's been pretty amazing to hear other people's stories of how a children's museum has inspired their lives.
That's great.
Yeah, well, that would include artists, because if children are there and they can color using crayons and paints and that kinds of things, that inspires them. That's wonderful. And building blocks, things that go up and up and up. I used to do that all the time when I was growing up.
Well, before we go to break, give us the facts again, and then give us the facts. How do I sign up? Where do I go?
Okay, so leapmuseum.org, or follow us on any social media platform, and you'll be able to see the tickets. And the first day is June 7th. We'll go until July 6th each weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you'll be able to get tickets for $5 a person.
All right.
We'll be at Valencia Town Center.
Fantastic. Well, we need to take a break now. I'm Kevin McDonald with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, 1220 KHTS.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
Satisfy your sweet tooth with a bite of sweet perfection from Nothing Bundt Cakes in Valencia. Their decadent cakes are ideal for your next birthday, anniversary, baby shower, wedding, holiday party, and more. Nothing Bundt Cakes makes their treats readily available without compromising quality. You can expect real butter and cream cheese, fresh eggs, and lots of love in each of their 10 luscious flavors. To order your own sweet treat, visit their Valencia Bakery in the Whole Foods Shopping Center or log on to nothingbundcakes.com.
KHTS salutes our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom through inspirational stories on our Hometown Heroes page on hometownstation.com, thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host Kevin McDonald on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Carrie McCoy of Leap Children's Museum. So let's continue with the history.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So we started, like I mentioned, our nonprofit last year with an executive board, and they've been supporting us. Now we're going to move into having a board advisory that meets once a quarter, that are made up of a lot of the community leaders to just check in with us and give us guidance on how they would do things and if we're moving at the pace that we need to be moving to. Each year we're going to be doing a pop-up event with a different theme. So next year will be science themed. Ultimately, until we can get to our our permanent space. So right now we're in talks with different organizations to see if we can acquire some space. And then once we acquire that space or have a partnership written down, we'll be bringing that to the different political offices to start getting requesting apportionments for funding. And then from there, we'll go to corporate sponsorships and work on building a 20,000 square foot space is what we're hoping to do.
Wow. That's a perfect space. Perfect. Whoa. Where will we put it?
Yeah. So it depends on what we can, but we're hoping to partner with Valencia Town Center in their new plans, and while they're building their new plans, taking up some of those spaces and redesigning it and building the museum there.
Oh, that's a perfect place for it. As long as the builders for houses and apartments and things like that don't overrun everything.
So they've been working with us.
They have?
Yeah, they have been talking with us and being a partner to us and trying to find, they're very supportive of the idea. And so they're trying to find the right space for us that wouldn't be altered with the new build.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes back to, again, go back to your mission. What are you really trying to accomplish? Where you want a permanent, but it's for the children.
Yes.
And what it is it for them? Where are they? How are they going to benefit? How is it going to benefit our future in town?
So the vision for the museum is to have a space for science, emerging technology, art, agriculture, and ultimately to show them that learning can be fun in ways that they aren't necessarily experiencing, getting them away from screen time. But then there's a few other things that I want them to take away. As a college counselor or as an academic counselor, I saw that a lot of my students only chose career paths that they were exposed to. So we want to partner with the careers in town to showcase all of the different things that children can go to. We want to have College of the Canyons have land surveyors come in and do crafts for the week. We want to have the aerospace industry have a space in our museum where they're showing how the CNC machines work and things like that.
Oh, now, what's a CNC?
CNC is the bolts that are created in different industries. So there's like these bolts that a computer will. Oh, I'll show you. I'll show you later. It's hard to describe.
Because my husband used to build model airplanes.
Yeah, yeah.
And he did that for many years. And also, he was a school principal and a school administrator. And he used to take his airplanes into the kids and help them build airplanes, and out of paper and out of cardboard, and it was just something he loved to do, and he was around kids for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And up in the Sauga School District here.
Yeah. Sounds like he would like to help. He should come volunteer.
Oh, well, he passed
Oh,
away,
I'm sorry to hear
unfortunately, 6 years ago, but that was his one love, model airplanes.
Yeah.
In
But
fact,
he was-
we turned our two-car garage into a model room.
Oh, wow.
But it was his exposure, and you're just
Yes,
sharing
exposure.
exposure
Yes,
to all
yes.
these different opportunities. So it's
Yes.
a museum, but it also sounds like really an education center for the
Exactly.
what's available to children in the future.
Right. And
Yeah,
exposing
where
them in a
where
different
kids
way.
can do things
Right.
that open their minds up.
Right.
And see kids doing other things and just exposing them. It's wonderful.
Right, and then the
Wonderful
other thing
idea.
that we want to expose them to is some Santa Clarita history that they don't maybe know fresh, and so that they can be proud of it. So within aerospace, those bolts, there's not one plane that flies in and out of the United States each day that doesn't have at least one part from Santa Clarita. And I don't think people know that, or our
wow.
oil, our history with oil, our history with trains, our history with film, our gold.
yes.
There's so much history in Santa Clarita. And so we're going to intertwine that with our exhibits. We'll have like the water play area. We're going to have the San Francis Dam where they show the water pressure and they can build it up, right? So we want to be able to incorporate careers, Santa Clarita history, as well with science, technology, and agriculture and art.
Yeah, and the Hart Museum is one.
Yes.
Oh, that is an incredible place.
Yeah.
And kids would love that. They really would.
All right, well, take us home. Give us, again, the name of the organization. How do we donate for the future? How do we help build the center that you want? And wrap it up with that if you will.
Absolutely. So this is Leap Children's Museum. We're hoping to build a permanent space within the next 5 years at the Valencia Town Center with 20,000 square feet. You can find us on leapmuseum.org or on our social media. We have a pop-up this summer, just in 2 weeks from now. So follow us, buy tickets, come volunteer. You can find all of our information on our website. Same with donating. We are going to need all of the dollars we can get to build these exhibits. So please donate.
All right, Carrie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for your time.
You have been listening to the Senior Hour on your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 KHTS. We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. Now go and enhance your quality of life.
Absolutely.